We all had to begin somewhere. For me, it was O-ring GI Joe, but for many, it was 5 points of articulation Star Wars. They'll never hold their weapons with 2 hands, but I can't deny they have a unique appeal. And they're all the rage now. Hasbro is jumping all over it with their phony, Kenner carded Marvel superheroes and villains. But one company has taken this nostalgia trip and ripped the roof off. I stopped by Comic Book Heroes here in Brisbane, Australia, and lo and behold, so much reaction. The line that started it all off was Alien, and here we see the Aliens lineup. Xenomorph is looking good, with a menacing posture and detailed sculpt. The humans, not so good. The stiff pose is not helped by the thick, flat, fleshy arms, giving poor Hudson here a very Ken doll aesthetic. Accessories are nice though, a detailed paint job on the helmet, and a very passable recreation of the awesome pulse rifle. These next 2 criminals are better served by this format. Beavis and Butthead's stylized cartoon appearance has never been better represented than this. Too bad that with no knee articulation, these guys will never be able to sit naturally on their couch. The Exorcist? Johnny Cash? The Bionic Woman? These things are like pops. No popular property goes unrepresented. Whether it's syndicated American television show heroes or Japanese Toho cinema beasties, it's all there. In regular and glow-in-the-dark flavor. The Munsters, Willow, Toxic Avenger, the list goes on. And even at 3 3/4 inch scale, you'll find Thundercats figures with much the same articulation as their original LJN counterparts. Come on, Cheetara, how are you going to use that super speed when your legs can't bend? Lieutenant Data from Star Trek The Next Generation always was really stiff on the show, so I think this figure works. Worf, not so much. He was constantly charging in and getting hurled about, so I'm going to need a little more from this plastic incarnation. The Power Rangers cards look amazing, and Squat has never looked better. The Megazord is there, retailing for $7 Australian more thanks to the extra plastic, but the sword and shield accessories are pretty substantial and look fantastic. And that's when I start to realize this toy line is meant to stay carded. Each set is so lovingly presented, so authentic to the classic branding. That's where the appeal lies, not in the play, but just like Pops, in having a wall of these eclectic cultural touchstones. And the specific lines you collect define your specific collected DNA. I get it now. And as a wallpaper, you could do far worse. I am delighted with the attention to detail in, say, the Transformers line. Bumblebee is shorter than a regular Autobot car like Mirage here. Grimlock will tower over all. I always figured Jetfire would be just as tall, but I guess not. The Decepticons also have a height hierarchy, with the Insecticons and the Tape Bots being pretty slight in stature. And once again, gorgeous presentation. But it better be. These things fall somewhere between an Action Master and a G1 brick in the articulation stakes. And they cost a bomb. A standout line for me has got to be the David Lynch Dune movie figures. I have a complete set of the originals by LJN, and was always impressed with the level of detail on those old guys. Well, ReAction is every bit as detailed, just shrunken down, which blows my mind. And the cards are once again very handsomely designed. If you've never encountered these in the wild yourself, allow me to show you exactly how small they are by comparing them to some O-ring Joes here. Speaking of Joes, did you know ReAction does GI Joe too? Of course they do. They do everything, remember? Including vehicles. Now granted, in a toy line that boasted some of the most fantastic rides, both produced or unproduced, it's a far cry to call a dog sled a vehicle. But we can all see the potential here for more. And that's the prospect that gets me giddy. As for the figures though, once again, gorgeous, expensive wallpaper with classic cards featuring beautiful and consistent art, and a colourful toy lovingly presented in the blister alongside. It's a heady nostalgia hit that really plays with your emotions. With a playlist of both essential characters and total left field picks that have never seen plastic before, they nevertheless all look of a high standard and really sucked me in. But at the equivalent of $23 a pop, you've gotta be selective. Would I walk out with Quinn, classic comic book anti-hero from issue number 2, with painfully few action figure versions? At least this one comes with a uniquely molded weapon, instead of whatever Roadblock was using, because guess what, Hasbro? They're not the same weapon. Or do I enhance my USS Flag by getting some sailors? With all the superstars of GI Joe lore, you quickly run out of guys handling the more banal but essential duties. It's also bloody clever to make them racially diverse too. You gotta collect them all. And check that XMLR. The Cobra Shock Trooper also caught my eye. Plucked straight from the space battle in the first GI Joe animated miniseries, these guys come in blue or green flavor and would look terrific in a Cobra Stellar Stiletto or Invader. That is, if they could bend their knees. I'm not about to gamble money on vehicle compatibility here. It's arguable that this is the best looking Destro at this scale. And what's more, he comes with a unique innovation for his weapons. A bog standard animation accurate gun is always great, but check the removable bracelet for his wrist rockets. Simple. Ingenious. Why was this the first time it's been done? Baroness is also looking accurate to her animation model from Mass Device, even down to the transparent green tinted glasses. Not enough can be said about how good these face sculpts are. At this scale, I'd say we are seeing boundaries being pushed and pushed a great deal. She'd look terrific in a Rattler. If only I knew she'd be able to fit in. As with any line of toys, you have your hot items, and you have your peg warmers. It seems the Games Master drone wasn't too popular. Here's another entry into the 4-inch arena, Judge Dredd by Higher Toys. $12 more gets you a fully articulated figure, and pretty soon we'll be seeing their GI Joe offerings. They definitely are pushing more towards a 4-inch scale, and where you find yourself on the modern 4-inch versus the vintage 3 3/4 inch divide will colour your opinion on which line to support. But time was running out, and I was no closer to a decision. Perhaps this very cartoon-accurate mirror-face CC. All he had to do anyway was stand around barking orders, right? And the geometry of his helmet was something us O-Ring fans could only ever dream of, it seems. But in the final analysis, I just couldn't do it. I think it's got to do with the stance. The legs are just too close together to look natural. These are perfect mannequins. They will always look unnatural in a scene full of more articulated figures. An amazing collecting obsession, and I can certainly appreciate that. But I'd sooner walk out of the store with one of these colourful loose chaps from the radical 90s than a very pretty carded 5 POA Joe from 2022. Yo Joburg everybody, and keep collecting. Whatever your personal preference is.